In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to bring your Data Studio reports to life by adding interactive elements and filters. Hi, this is Ahmad from COWAC with the final lesson from the Google Data Studio Essentials series. I hope you enjoyed this series so far. In the previous lessons, we learned how to use different data connectors to connect our data into different tools and how to visualize our data using a diverse range of standard charts and community visualizations. So at this point in time, you should be able to create a report like this. But this report is static. It is not different from a printed piece of paper. The viewer of the report cannot interact with it. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to add interactive elements to your report to allow the report viewers to change things like the time frame or apply filters or segments dynamically to slice and dice data or analyze it or look at it differently. Let's go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about report interactions in Data Studio. At this point in time, we should be able to create a report like this. We have some scorecards at the top, then we have a trend line with users and page views, we have a Google map, we have a table, we have a pie chart and a horizontal bar chart. Creating a report like this shouldn't be a problem for you. Well, let's see what we can do with this report. As a business owner receiving this report from the team, what they can do with this report. Yes, they can read the numbers, they can see the number of users, the percent of the change to the previous period. And if they look at the top, they can figure out that this report is for the first quarter of 2020 and the comparisons are to the first quarter of the previous year. But besides reading the numbers and knowing for what time period it is, what else they can do? Imagine yourself as the business owner. You see some numbers here and you want to know more about them. For example, we can see that we've had a large number of users and a large amount of revenue from California and from New York. What if we want to take a deeper look at these segments only? What if we want to see the same data for just the male audience or just the female audience? What if we want to compare how new visitors are doing in terms of revenue compared to returning visitors? Or what if we just want to see the performance of paid search or referrals or organic search? Or even more important, what if we prefer to see the same exact report for another time period? With this report, we cannot do that. But as you might have guessed, there is a solution, and that's report interactions. Let's take a look at another version of the same report and see how we can make it interactive. This report looks exactly the same, but it is capable of transforming itself into many different reports. Let's see how it is possible. The user of the report has the ability to change the date range of the report. Here we can see the report for the month of April, but we can easily change it to take a look at another time period. For example, March. Something as simple as that will make your clients happier because they don't have to call you anymore to create the same report for another time period. The second way of adding interactivity to your reports is by enabling the interactive filtration for your charts. I'll show you how to do it a bit later on, but first, let's see how it works. I've already enabled the interactive filtering for all of the charts in this report. For this map, for this trend line, for this table, the pie chart, and the bar chart. Let's start with the map. Let's filter the whole report to just show data for California. We just need to click on it. That's awesome, isn't it? How about New York? I guess I've clicked on Massachusetts, but you get the point. This is New York. Did you notice the conditional formatting working on the commerce conversion rate scorecard? If not, just rewind it and watch it again. Or just continue watching because it's gonna happen again. If you want to reset that, you can right click and click Reset Action. And now the report is back to the default state. How about the pie chart? Let's just take a look at the segment of female audience. They seem to be mostly from DC and California, And this shows that we cannot expect a really high e-commerce conversion rate from this segment. Let's click again to reset. How about new visitors? That's it. Click again and reset. We can also use this table to cross-filter the rest of the reports. For example, let's click on organic search, and you guess what happens. We can hold down Control key or Command key and click on another row to add them to our segment. Again, let me right click and reset action. And now let's figure out how we can use a trend line to filter the report. Where do we click? On a line, on a date range? I'm going to show you. That's called brushing. You start clicking on the first date, you hold your mouse button down and you drag to the right and release. And that's it. Again, to revert it back, reset action. This was exciting, wasn't it? I'm not sure about you, but the first time that this feature was introduced, I was so excited about this. Okay, let's go back to the edit mode and I show you where the setting is. For almost any chart type in Data Studio, when you click on the chart, at the absolute bottom of the Data Properties tab, you see this Interactions tab with Apply Filters. If you remove it, the users cannot use that chart to cross-filter the report. If you enable it, the users can use that chart to filter the report. Let's go back to the View mode and continue the lesson. So far, we learned two ways of adding interactions to our reports, using a date range selector and click on different charts to cross-filter the rest of the report. But there are two more items remaining. The next method of adding interaction to a report is by using a filter control. This allows the viewer of the report to filter the report by selecting different categories of a dimension. Here I have selected source medium as a dimension. And in the drop-down menu, we are seeing all the source medium for this GA account. Find the dimension and the category that we're interested in, or we can search for it. And when we find it, we can click only. When we click only, the report will be filtered to show only values for that source medium. Another way of using it, instead of just using only, is to either select them all or deselect them all and then just select some of them. So referral, CPC, and organic from Google. And also note that we can go crazy and add several filters to the same report at the same time. So I can do this and I can click on Texas, and then I can click on returning visitors to create a super small segment to look at. Let me reset everything back to normal. Okay, so let's move on to the final interactive element that we can add to our report. It is called the data control. A data control component allows the viewer of the report to change the data source for the report. Imagine that you're a business owner that owns several e-commerce stores, and you want to see the same report with same data for each of those stores. Now, this report is connected to a single Google Analytics account, but a data control component allows you to change the Google Analytics account that this report is connected to. Let's see it in action. First of all, if you have access to many accounts, you can of course search for it. Otherwise, you can just select an account to connect. The whole report changes to reflect the new numbers from the new GA account that it's been connected to. And as you can see, they have users, they have sessions, they have page views, but no transactions, no revenue, nothing whatsoever. So either this is not an e-commerce store, or they are not doing a good job, or any job at all. Let me just quickly show you how to add a date range filter, a filter control component, and a data control component. Okay, just pause and reset the data control. Let's go back to the edit mode and see how it is done. To add a date range control, you click here on the date range and you place it wherever on the report canvas that you want. You can set your default date range under the data tab. To add a filter control, you click here and add your filter control anywhere on the page. Once added, you can come to the Data Properties tab and add a dimension, some default selections, comma separated, and optionally a metric. And finally, to add a data control component, you click on this one and add it to the report. The data control components work for the Google connectors, such as Google Analytics, Google Ads, YouTube Analytics, Campaign Manager, Search Console, etc. That's it. Congratulations! You just learned how to add interactivity to your report. Congratulations! This was the final lesson in Google Data Studio Essentials series. Now you should be able to use Google Data Studio to visualize data in your marketing and analytics tools and create beautiful, useful, interactive reports and share them with others. I invite you to take the exam to test your knowledge and receive the certification of completion. And if you'd like to learn more about Data Studio, please check the links in the descriptions for the next steps. If you're new to Measure School, make sure to subscribe so you can get notified of the future videos that we publish. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. It's been a pleasure for me to be with you and teach you the essentials of Google Data Studio in this series. I look forward to seeing you in my next videos. This is Ahmad. Until next time.